From the very beginning, we clearly stated a commitment in exchange for a commitment. This means that we will not fulfill any commitment without a corresponding action. If the opposing party violates its commitments, which it has, the Islamic Republic of Iran has reciprocally taken and implemented the necessary actions. This is the approach that will continue in the future.
With ceasefires collapsing, assassination threats flying and missiles in the air, just how close are we to a genuine all-out war in the Middle East that no one can easily stop? As Trump prepares for what he calls a possible attack on his life, is Tehran sending a chilling signal that it is ready to escalate far beyond diplomatic protests and angry statements? After Trump's blunt bomb Iran threat rattled the region, has Tehran now dropped a major surprise by publicly denying that any peace talks were ever requested in the first place? Is the United States a habitual betrayer of agreements, as Tehran blasts Washington for repeatedly violating a ceasefire memorandum of understanding signed barely 3 weeks ago? After Trump revealed a dramatic if-I'm-killed retaliation plan, is Iran now playing a deeper and more calculated game, publicly denying talks while quietly keeping back channels open? Amid alarming public calls for Trump's assassination, Iran has publicly denied any resumption of peace talks, flatly contradicting Washington's account of the diplomatic situation. On July 10th, Iran's foreign ministry stated clearly that there was no request to negotiate with the United States, throwing cold water on Trump's own claims of ongoing dialogue. Even as Trump insists Tehran was the one asking to keep talks alive, an Iranian cleric is simultaneously urging a direct strike on the president, exposing the deeply contradictory signals coming from Iran. Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesman Ismail Baghai accused the United States of repeatedly breaching its commitments, arguing that Washington has made a habit of signing deals it never intends to honor. We had no request to negotiate with the U.S., but based on our consistently responsible approach, we did not reject the request of one of the regional mediators to travel to Iran and discuss the latest situation. As you are aware, this visit took place today, Friday, July 10th, in Mashhad, and we conveyed our points of view and perspectives to the Qatari party. America's breach of covenant is a habit. If previously in 2018 their excuse was that they had a problem with the previous administration, now they apparently have stubbornness even with themselves. The Memorandum of Understanding, which has only been signed for 21 or 22 days, has constantly faced the violation of its various clauses by America. The events that occurred on Wednesday and Thursday were a blatant violation of clauses 1 and 2 of the Memorandum of Understanding. The announcement they made regarding the cancellation of the sale of Iranian oil was also a blatant violation of another clause of the Memorandum of Understanding, and the news recently announced about the imposition of new sanctions is a clear violation of Clause 9 of the Memorandum. From the very beginning, we clearly stated a commitment in exchange for a commitment. This means that we will not fulfill any commitment without a corresponding action. If the opposing party violates its commitments, which it has, the Islamic Republic of Iran has reciprocally taken and implemented the necessary actions. This is the approach that will continue in the future. The UNSC meeting was convened at the request of the United States, the United Kingdom, and France in implementation of Resolution 2231, which, from our perspective and from a legal standpoint, practically does not exist. Security Council Resolution 2231 expired on October 18, 2025. Therefore, any reporting by the Secretary-General regarding the implementation of this resolution is meaningless and lacks any legal validity. The positions of China and Russia are the same. This trip is a continuation of the consultations that we started with Oman over the past month or two regarding the Strait of Hormuz issue. As you know, the Strait of Hormuz issue was one of the key issues in the ceasefire memorandum of understanding. Iran accepted a clear responsibility regarding the establishment of future arrangements and also the issue of maritime services related to ship traffic in Oman and has been very determined and decisive in this regard. According to the agreement, we were to consult and cooperate with Oman in this regard. Several technical meetings have been held so far, both in Tehran and on this trip, and it is in continuation of those consultations to help facilitate safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz. On July 10th, Donald Trump publicly claimed that Iran had itself asked Washington to continue talks even after the ceasefire ended, framing Tehran as the side seeking engagement. Trump said the U.S. agreed to those talks but made clear the ceasefire was now over, delivering both an olive branch and a threat in the very same breath. Iran's foreign ministry response directly contradicted Trump's public account, creating a sharp and public clash of narratives that makes any path back to dialogue look increasingly difficult. Interestingly, all of this unfolded amid a sharp rise in rhetoric around a possible assassination attempt on the president, adding a deeply personal and dangerous dimension to the already volatile standoff. An Iranian cleric has reportedly called for a missile or drone strike against U.S. President Donald Trump, making the remarks amid heightened tensions between Washington and Tehran. Ahmad Reza Hajati allegedly urged supporters to carry out attacks in response to the death of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Hajati reportedly called on anyone with missiles or drones to target Donald Trump, using inflammatory language while calling for retaliation against those he blamed for Iran's losses. The cleric said such an action would represent revenge for the death of Iran's supreme leader, framing the call as part of a wider demand for retaliation. Another cleric, Syed Ali Hosseini, reportedly said that Ali Khamenei's death had left a wound in Iran, reflecting the grief and anger expressed by some supporters. Hosseini said the pain would not ease until revenge was taken against those responsible, as calls for retaliation continued among some religious figures and supporters. The cleric also accused the United States of maintaining a hostile stance toward Iran, adding to the ongoing political tensions between the two countries.
That's right. A new leader has come, and God willing he will take his place. We do not abrogate a verse or cause it to be forgotten, except that we bring forth one better than it or similar to it. Quran verse. Almighty God wills that if someone is martyred, he appoints another guardian in his place. But each person has his own character and standing, and the truth is that his loss is a wound that is settled on our hearts, until vengeance is taken for him and his enemies are destroyed, in whatever ways the officials themselves deem appropriate. This pain in our hearts will not ease, and the grief of separation from him will remain with us.
Iranian worshippers were also reported to have called for retaliation against the United States and Israel, expressing anger and demanding action following the reported events. One worshipper said Iran would continue seeking revenge for Ali Khamenei's death, echoing broader calls for retaliation among some groups in the country. The developments came as Ali Khamenei was buried in Mashhad following days of funeral processions held across Iran and Iraq. Thousands of people attended ceremonies following the death of the longtime Iranian supreme leader, with large gatherings held in his memory. The calls for revenge come as tensions between Washington and Tehran remain extremely high, with both sides facing continued political and security challenges. U.S. President Donald Trump on July 11 warned Iran that 1,000 missiles are locked and loaded, aimed at the country. Trump said thousands more missiles stand ready if Iran attempts to assassinate him, referencing intelligence about an alleged plot. The president issued a strongly worded statement on Truth Social amid mounting calls inside Iran for revenge and threats against his life. Donald Trump said, and I quote, 1,000 missiles are locked and loaded and aimed at the Islamic Republic of Iran, with thousands of more to immediately follow, should the Iranian government act on its threat, pronounced in many corners of the globe, to assassinate, or attempt to assassinate, the sitting president of the United States of America, in this case, me. Orders have already been given, and the U.S. military is ready, willing, and able, for 1 year period of time, subject to extension, to completely decimate and destroy all areas of Iran. Praise be to Allah, unquote.